support his reform
Same time.
agenda. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to, because I heard that line as well, and I wanted to ask, I mean, even some serving the UN's cause that have fallen include, for example, Michael Sharp and Zeta Catalan. So I wanted to know, and there's criticism, there's, whether he calls it from critics or not, saying that maybe the UN itself could have done better, should learn from that in terms of how to protect its experts in the field. So I wanted to know, factually, with the upcoming week coming up, when does the Secretary General expect to actually make a decision about a follow-on mechanism that's been much discussed? Is he going to use, I guess, that week to get
I think
political
no one
support
more than
for
the
it?
Secretary General wants to see justice for our two fallen colleagues. I think he has expressed it directly. He's met with the families. The responsibility, the primary responsibility to find those responsible lies with the government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There is a discussion going on how to best create a follow-on mechanism, and that will be addressed as soon as possible. I think the Secretary General, through the Board of Inquiry, we made very clear what could have been done differently, what could have been done better, and of course there are lessons to be learned from that horrendous that horrendous murder.
Two things. Was it ever determined, because I read that report, was it ever determined whether these security management system regulations did apply at the time to experts or apply now? That was one thing that was
Well, I think that was one of the issues
Right.
that is very much a lessons learned on how to better integrate the experts into that security
And can you see
mechanism.
why, if it's possible that the DRC government or its affiliates or affiliated militia may have played some role in the crime, why there are people that are saying
We know no one is debating that.
ask you about Togo and Sri Lanka, but first I want to, since these answers you've given on reform, I wanted to ask about a different part of reform. One, just very specifically, I'd ask you, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, if you've looked into what the rules are for the UN security people that went with John Ash to Macau and that will presumably keep doing that. Whether, given what was found,
Keep doing what?
I mean, we'll be offering close protection to future PGAs if crime is witnessed by a UN, and as I go through these exhibits, it's pretty clear that this first trip, there was nothing hidden about it. I'm not blaming the guard. I guess what I'm asking you is, what are the rules? What is the protocol for someone assigned from UN DSS to accompany a UN official if they witness what's, as it turns out,
The
crime?
staff rules are applicable to everyone, and I would leave it at that.
And so, I mean, I'd asked, and then during the time you suspended briefings, I never got a written answer on how this, it was an event by something called the World Organization of Competitiveness and Governance, and it was a group that was co-founded by Carlos Garcia, shown in the Eng Lap Seng case to have been involved in money laundering. What type of vetting has taken place? Has anyone within either OLA or ECOSOC
I'll
looked at the...
look at the event.
I know, but
I didn't see your email.
Okay, and on Togo-
I got overwhelmed. Yes.
All right. On Togo, you'd said yesterday that Mr. Chambas is there, and since even you said that, there's been the use of tear gas. People stayed out all overnight. It's basically being widely described as a kind of possible either end game for the administration there, or has he reached out to the people that are the actual opponents in the street, or what's he doing while he's there?
I think he is, as I say, he continues to be there, talking to all the Togolese stakeholders, as we said, civil society, diplomatic corps, the presidents, and his message is the same to all, which is a call for calm, encouraging dialogue to resolve outstanding issues, and advocate for the acceleration of the country's reform agenda.
And on Sri Lanka, again, maybe you may have been overwhelmed by the question, but there's a former general, Jagath, who's been now charged with war crimes. He fled back to Sri Lanka from Brazil. Since he got back to Sri Lanka, he said that then UN official Radhika Kumaraswamy told me that there is nothing against you in terms of war crimes. And so I understand that she's no longer a UN official, but given that he is explicitly saying that she said it as a UN official, does the UN have anything to? Was it the case that?
Well, I mean, it's not for. I don't know. I don't know anything about the veracity of the quote, but these sorts of charges are put forward by judicial bodies.